Do you have to be a loony to buy real estate in Phoenix, or just have lots of loonies? Hannah Schoenberger joins us on the set now to explain what's going on in Phoenix. Lots of loonies there, right?
And toonies. You need both loonies and toonies.
Toonies, okay. So what's happening? Something's happening special in Phoenix, and it's to do with Canadians, and the loonie is, of course, the Canadian currency.
Yes. Several things are happening. One is that the American real estate market, as everyone knows, is absolutely in the tank. So
especially in Phoenix.
Especially in Arizona, it's one of the hardest hit states. So a lot of foreclosures, short sales, which are sales when the bank doesn't get back everything it put in, which is kind of a problem. So there's a lot of great deals, and also the Canadian dollar has done just spectacularly against the US dollar recently. So high Canadian dollar, cheap real estate, lots of Canadians moving to Phoenix.
And it's warm. I mean, is it,
oh, well, the weather, you don't have to, everyone agrees.
But that's,
that
I mean, what the attractive thing to them about Phoenix is they think there will be a turnaround, that there will always be a demand down the road for real estate in that part of the country.
Because it's a beautiful place, and the nature, the landscape is just so gorgeous. So Canadians have been moving to the Sun Belt forever, and now they're really moving.
Now, and you have an example in here of Jermaine Villeneuve. He has a $50 million spending spree there.
Yes.
He's taking other people's money, taking it down there. That's quite a lot, really, for an individual investor.
Yeah, well, he runs a fund. He helps run a fund called the Living Well Homes Fund. And the day that I spoke to him, he called me from a house he was looking at. It was a small, modest house, and he was going to pay a little over $100,000 for it, which was a good deal. At the end, he did not get it in the bankruptcy auction. Actually, someone else got it for a few $1,000s more, but he just moved right on to the next house.
But for the temporary, the short term, he's renting them to folks who may have lost their homes there in foreclosures. Is that right?
Those people have to live somewhere, and they don't want their kids to switch schools, so often they stay in the same neighborhood.
Interesting.
So
it's a neat dynamic.
This influx of Canadians, is it leading? We're looking here.
Beer
and hockey. So I said Newcastle Brownell there. So they're bringing and Molson and stuff. So they're bringing all that down to and ice hockey and stuff.
Yeah, well, Phoenix already has ice hockey. Of course, they have an NHL team, but yeah, there's been a huge explosion in league hockey. The dads playing hockey or the kids playing hockey, and they have little bars by the hockey rink where you can sit and drink beer and watch your boyfriend skate around on the ice.
Of course, a big bet, of course, that the economy will recover, that the U.S. dollar will then become stronger. That's only when they're going to make their money back.
Right, because you live in it and you stay in the desert, it's beautiful, and then when you sell it, it's worth more when you repatriate that money to Canada.
Or at least maybe the real estate market rebounds as well, and that you will get a double whammy there. But not a lot of people are saying that's going to happen anytime soon.
So a long-term investment, I assume.
It'll be at least 5 to 10 years. The most optimistic real estate brokers I spoke to said at least 2016-ish.
That's interesting. So what I find very interesting is that people can pay the rent when they've been kicked out of their foreclosed home, but the bank wouldn't deal with them to get the money from them in the rent equivalent to sort of pay the debt. I mean,
more to a home than just obviously paying your mortgage. I mean, you got to pay for your upkeep. You have to pay. Your utility bills can be higher. You deal with your landscaping. Something goes wrong. You got to fix it. The boiler goes down. People don't think about that when they go into home ownership. They think it's like renting, and it's not.
And when you rent, of course, it's not your problem when the boiler goes.
Exactly.
So do you think we're going to continue to see this trend? Will this happen? I noticed that, and you said Canadians made up the largest percentage of foreigners buying real estate in the U.S., 23%, up from 11% in 2007.
Well, it's not surprising that Canadians would come here. We are their neighbor to the south, and we speak their language, and it's a good fit for them. But yeah, I mean, the main issue is that the Canadian dollar has actually started to move down in the last couple of weeks. The U.S. dollar has gone up, which is really a story about people are afraid of what's going on in Europe. They think maybe another recession, so they're pouring into the safe currency, which is our dollar. But in the long term, it remains to be seen what's going to happen to that currency pair, Canadian versus American.
Okay.
Hope they like Phoenix.
I hope they like Phoenix. It is. It's only warm, isn't it?
If you're stuck there.
Thank you very much, Hannah Schoenberger of our FX team at WSJ.com.